Okay, we're live. We have the finals of the first season of Mercury League, part of the Zero League. I don't know what to consider a consortium, maybe? It might be a bit of a different way to approach it, but part of Zero League, Mercury League, the PS4 side of it. The finals, a best of 5, between Beyond Reality and Blood Wolves Lavish. A bit of an interesting matchup here. I wouldn't really expect this to be the finals. I guess this is just the best of the teams. We have two solid, well-established teams here in Blood Wolves Lavish and Beyond Reality. Beyond Reality, formerly known as Blood Wolves Muteki Psychonics, the B team actually of Muteki, who now are known as, Cursed Reality, and then they disappeared, so they actually outlived their A team, which is interesting. And then the other side is Blood Wolves Lavish. This is, I believe, the stronger roster between them, and I recently learned that Lavish has a second roster named Lavish Gardeners. This is probably their stronger roster here. I just didn't realize until now that they had two. So the B team of an old team that has become its own team, still under the Reality organization, against Lavish, their A team in that sense. It should be interesting. Beyond has some veteran competitive players. It has Tom, it has Trippy, it has Thano, it has a couple others that I can't remember exactly. I'd have to go look. And then, you have on the other side, you have Blood Wolves Lavish, which seem like a very well-established team. I just don't know their players as well. That's just me, though. Beyond Reality, rather aggressive here, and this is a map that favors teams that take a rather aggressive route, at least once they get into the building. I would say this isn't a map where you see a lot of really slow pushes, unless the defense is specifically aiming for slow pushes. So it should be interesting. This is a map, Clubhouse, it's somewhat defender-sided. I wouldn't say that it's as defender-sided as maybe Oregon or Villa, but it's still up there, for sure. Don't know whose map pick it is here, but obviously the team on the defense should have a bit of an advantage, which is Lavish, so I would think that it's a Beyond Reality pick. This is one of Reality's stronger maps, I believe. I swear, if I invited the wrong Trippy, I'm gonna be angry at myself. If that happened, I would be very confused. Anyways, looking at the bans here, very by the book. The only odd one I'd say is Mira. You rarely see Mira on this map. At least rarely see Mira seriously play. The only time that you'll see here is sometimes on Gym and Bedroom, but even then, I would say the setup that is most common, which is the one over here in Bathroom, and then the other one will usually go in Logi. Sometimes you'll see it actually in Cache, with a Cache extension as well. But most of the time, it's the Logi Mirror and the Bathroom Mirror. It's not very strong. I believe both of those have soft floor. If not, you can certainly frag through the floor. And they also don't do a whole lot, I'd say. Certainly the Logi Mirror is soft floor, and you can absolutely frag it, so it's really not worth the effort that it takes to properly cover those, as Mesa will take down Trippy, and that's going to bring up the first issue of this match here for Beyond Reality, is that this, at least for this first map, it's a 4v5 for them from the start. So it's as though they lost their first player to it. It's as though they lost their first player to a spawn peak without even getting any damage. It's not good. It also obviously restricts what they can bring in terms of utility. Without that fifth player, for example, they might not be able to bring a Monty. I know that they don't run Monty, they don't like Monty, but because they lack that fifth player, now they have to really focus on bringing the essentials of a push, which in this case, you have your secondary support in Killer Tom, as well as sort of a flex role in that. He does bring a strong weapon and some frags, so he can definitely get some utility or guide to denial. And then obviously Obey Venom here as the ace, that hard reach. This is a hard reach focused map, so obviously you need to be bringing at least one breacher. And then Thano is the sort of soft support, flank watches. He'll be gunned down by ballistics, looking for a second kill, potentially. Now he's going to turn his attention to outside, where he knows the rest of Beyond Reality's push is. Gets a double kill and a nice headshot on Obey Venom, and it's up to just Tom here against the entirety now. Blood Wolves Lavish, who are for the most part untouched. The only exception is Ugly Eagle, about half health, but the rest of Lavish is at full health. And technically speaking, Ugly Eagle could be at full health too. He just needs to just need to go over and get some stims on the Thunderbird Kona stations, which have been set up. It's not good here. You know, that on that very topic of, in terms of team composition, you know, Trippy has that fourth operator, the Ash, sort of entry frag as well as some vertical potentially. You know, you really have to focus on bringing exactly what you need, and you can't really afford to be playing with extra operators that you aren't going to be using. Danny will get the final kill of the first round. This is a bad tone to start off with for Beyond Reality. I swear, if I invited the wrong Trippy, I'm going to be mad at myself. Okay, so there are apparently two separate... I think there are two separate Trippies. I might be wrong. I don't think they really care which one it is, because they're both... Okay, yeah, I don't even know.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I literally can't pause. It's prep phase.
5 seconds left before insertion. Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
These people. These people. These people. These teams confuse me. Then we'll take down Eagle. We pause after this round because apparently Lavish isn't in hand cam. Yeah. Okay, that's not a lot for me to say. I mean, it's a 4v5. This is very predictable. To see this outcome. Anyways, there's just not a whole lot going on here. You know, Tom's team, Beyond Reality, needs to put up a fight, which they are. It's obviously very early in the series. We're at what, the second round out of. At maximum. Second round out of 75 max. Could be different, but we'll have to wait and see, really. As you can see, ballistics. Okay, quite snappy. Ooh. Yes, that's Danny taking down Thano. See, it's an even number situation here, strangely enough, as quite a bit of pressure being applied onto the defense here, onto what was Lavish. We'll have to see if they can get some sort of breakthrough here, if Beyond Reality can get a push in, if they could finally get on the objective. But time is running low. They do have the diffuser. They don't have the diffuser, pardon me. It's just sitting there in the middle of blue for some reason. So Nitro will go out and finishes off Trippy, pardon me. That'd be Draco's falling. And Venom and Trippy get the frags that they need to secure this round. Surprisingly enough. It's 1-1 now. And now we're gonna pause. Yay. We have to make sure that everybody's in the hand cam. Yup, 4v5, Caleb. 4v5. Back to the action, folks. Hand cams are all set, thankfully. It's a strange situation. There. Okay, what is Tom doing? I see him in the hand cam right now, and he doesn't have his camera on, and at the same time, like, he has his mic unmuted, so I think he's talking. I don't even know what is happening.
Attackers need to
I
locate
can't
and
tell you
defuse
guys,
as many
I'm
bombs
sorry.
as they can.
It's just confusing, honestly.
Bomb located by attackers.
Ugh.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds to go. Attackers are heading out to defuse a...
Okay. There goes Mesa at the hands of Venom. Still in a man down here, obviously. Nobody can join the middle of the match unless they left. The reason that I say that is that even though they're at this man down, Tom and the rest of Beyond Reality is actually putting up quite a fight here. It's still very early, so there's still plenty of time for the morale of Beyond Reality to drop. You really wanted to be a pessimist and consider that, but they're putting up a solid opening effort, a good rally for them to open up this match, as they're looking for just a very classic push here against a very classic hold, just a turtle hold really from the defending team of Lavish. It's nothing too surprising. This is a rather usual map. I'm not really expecting anything strange from either of these teams. They don't seem like the type of team that's going to pull out some sort of innovative strat. For the most part, these two teams just rely on gun skill. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that you sort of sacrifice a lot of the chances for more intricate and elaborate strategies in exchange for instead you just really rely on winning gunfights, which is a double-edged sword at times. You know, that means that you're likely going to be stronger at coastline, for example. But especially if your entry frags are having a bad day, then it's not good. There's never good news when your entry frag is having a bad day. Also, why? I'm not gonna say anything, honestly. 3v3, Trippy will take down Danny, and now it's back to even numbers here for both sides. It's been a good effort here from Beyond Reality in terms of neutralizing the numbers disadvantage. However, the downside of that is that they're moving very slowly here, forcing themselves to make late executes. Thana going to take some damage. He looks to push on site. Those two take down one, Ugly takes down another. That's Ugly Eagle with a double kill, closing out the round there. Netting Lavish yet another round win as they push further to halftime. Anyways, there's nothing really spectacular here. You know, the problem for Beyond Reality, besides the fact that they are down by one person, is the fact that Thomas Mel said, I don't know, is the fact that they are pushing so slowly. They're almost imposing upon themselves a 20-second meta, which is really bad. You know, we used to really be in the 20-second meta back when Mai had his shield and Jaeger could burn 2 instead of burning unlimited on a cooldown. Which, the fact that that change occurred, obviously it occurred, you know, what, like a year ago now? Probably over a year ago. The fact that that change occurred meant that the meta for using those Jaegers changed. Because now it's more about stacking ADSs on a single area that you want to hold instead of just spreading them out. In the past, you know, teams still would put down ADSs and stack them sometimes, but now that's really the meta way for holding Baha. That's really the meta way for holding any specific area of the map or specific piece of utility. For example, a shield. You know, oftentimes you'll see on Oregon. I believe that's actually in this best of 5. That might be later in the series, though. You know, oftentimes you will see teams when they do the blue elbow hold, they'll bring Jaeger and they'll put 2 ADSs in blue elbow right in front of the shield. Obviously not, you know, blatantly in front of the shield, but you'll get what I'm saying. They'll be doing that so that way the shield is protected. You know, I think regardless of if it was 1 shot and then a cooldown, or if it was 2 shots and then it's done, I think teams would still do that. It's just now that change has occurred, it's even more prevalent among defending teams looking to hold utility. The Thunderbird, I've seen a lot of Thunderbird at least recently. Don't know why teams are so preference towards bringing the Thunderbird. She is a strong operator, in all fairness. She does bring a good gun. She brings Nitro or Impact, so she has utility. The thing is that the healing utility, you know, the Kona Station is good when the enemy team does not finish gunfights, and or they don't get headshots. Because if you get headshots, it makes Doc, it makes Thunderbird, it makes, to an extent, Finka as well, it makes Rook useless. Because that's all the health gone. 1 shot. It doesn't matter that you have 150 health, or however much you would have as a 3 armor that's on stim with a Rook plate on you. It doesn't matter, you're dead. That's the simplest way to put it. Draco's just actually got res just in time and healed up, thankfully. As he will send out a first of 3 smokes. It might have downed Venom? No, Venom's on the other side, so it couldn't have been that. Probably lowered Trippy, as it seems they are really just trying to do their best to push here. There's not a whole lot they can do currently, because they're outnumbered and they have a player down. So it's really a 3v5. Obviously, the fact that they lowered Draco's does help them. They removed the chance for him to be rezzed again. But he does have, you know, he has Kona Station, so he could very well just go and stim up if they don't manage to finish him off next time around. He's looking at throwing another smoke out there to try and clear out Killer Thomas playing this platform. This sort of rooftop right above blue. Venom will take down Eagle, and it's now back to a number situation. It's even. As Killer Thomas is down and out, courtesy of Mesa playing on top of Island. It's now actually man advantage once again in favor of. Loves Lavish. See, Trippy might be looking to push forward here. Does take down the Lucy, and that will actually alert right next to him. Alerts Danny, will take him out. So now a 2v3, Thano picks off Draco's. And Ballistic Stoning Raptors might be the key to taking out
this push here to finishing this push off. Dano holding down CC as Venom might be looking to push in here. Does take the diffuser 1v3. Dano will pick off Dano for a double kill. Now it's up to just Ballistics and Venom on the other side. The only attacker left. Mesa gonna heal up. You can see Dano as well. Just gonna be holding an angle, waiting this out, holding that flat shield. As you can tell, drop actually from Ballistics. Don't know where he's going. Venom, low health, outnumbered, low time. Has the diffuser, but needs to make something happen. Looks to get a frag ready for that shield and will be swung by Danny off of a quick rotate. Well done there by Lavish as they move to 3-1. Anyways. On to the next round. On to a gym bedroom hold here, as it's looking to be an almost side sweep here from Lavish. They could very well complete it. They're at a man advantage. Admittedly, they're going to the weakest side on this map, but it's not impossible. I've seen teams win the side before. I never say never, and if you wanted to use that saying, if you don't, okay, to each their own, all that, I don't really care. You get what I'm saying, though. As looking at the lineups here, it's two very standard holds or lineups, however you want to really think of it. You know, on one side we have a cache extension. You know, you have the Thunderbird there to assist with when it comes to anchoring, as well as Danny providing some good utility burn, as well as a nice sort of upgraded prox mine. With those Banshees, frankly, they're not all that strong utility burn nowadays. You know, they can be shot now. That's the key thing to keep in mind. Is that you don't have to go up and knife it or blow it up. Those aren't your only options. You can now shoot them relatively now. But the castle, the Melusi, the mute, it's all really being used here to help hold that cache extension, which is a bit strange here. You know, we have the mute jammers down, we have an ADS. There's this door, though, as you can see, is not castled yet. I don't know why. They have put down that very standard castle there on that door, as well as a castle on the window. The window castle is a waste. I've told people this for a very long time, and I'm continuing to tell them. Window castles, for the most part, are a waste. Because unlike that door, where you need to throw a frag or an ash charge or a Zoph charge at it, this, you could literally just have Killer Tom put down, or spend, rather, a couple of ticks on his torch, and he would clear it. It's not like you even need to waste utility on it, or waste that much utility on it. And that's the downside of window castles, that they're a lot easier for the attack to deal with, which is what makes them weaker than just putting it on the doorway. So they could probably rotate that one away, put it on, I don't know, Khan's window? Maybe CC window? I'm not exactly sure, I'm just trying to improvise here. You can see Khan's cache extension here from Draco's and the rest of Bloodwell's Lavish, as they have one in cache, one in Khan's, very predictable, and then the rest on site are roaming. Mesa can actually be playing sort of a flex position between the two sites, as Ballistics and Danny just hold down the rest of the objective, and looking just to be very meta hold here. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's very standard. I don't know why that bar was even there. It's a bit of a waste of barbed wire there from Lavish, as they look to just waste a bit more time here. The Selma's going to go down now. I don't know why they're exactly using a Selma on the doorway instead of on a wall. You should be able to clear out the stuff there. That's all soft floor. There is a mute jammer, but you can certainly get it onto the sides. They've changed how they work now. Ugly will take down Killer Tom, removing the Maverick, and remove any real shot there from Beyond Reality of getting that open. And I don't think there's a mistake being made here by Beyond Reality, at least on this hold, as Ugly gets the third kill there onto Venom and Trippy. It's not to just Thano. Some of the spot that Killer was in at the beginning of this match. He's the last one left against the entirety of Bloodwell's Lavish. Jump out there from Draco's will cause him to die, but now they know where he is. Now we're going to see Lavish likely just descend on his position. At the very least, they're going to just hold angles. Danny's going to push forward here, looking for a kill. Don't know if that's going to exactly get him much, as, you know, it's really just a matter of waiting. South Thano gets a double kill, as I don't know why they're aggro pushing him. They've already wasted almost half their team on him. Ace is going to try and engage him in a gunfight. Both of them not really succeeding, not failing necessarily, but none of them able to really get much damage. He spots the Thunderbird there of Ugly Eagle, as he's going to look to rotate around. Ugly Eagle just holding angle here. Low time now. They're going to need to push forward here. has to do something at least actually going to attract the attention there of the Banshee, and that's the end of the round. Very quick stop there for Beyond Reality. And it's now 1-4. The lead has expanded here for Blood Wolves Lavish. This is looking messy here from Beyond Reality. Obviously, the 4v5 isn't helping them, but, you know, the problem that Beyond Reality had in that last round, besides the fact that they were a man down and they lost their gunfights, was that they weren't really counter-stratting. I think that's the thing that they need to start doing here. Which is not terribly hard to do. That, really. The key for them to do that is just pay attention to what is being held by Lavish Gaming, Little's Lavish, pardon me. You know, did
10 seconds left.
a good example was that last round. Cache extension. There was what, 2 mute jammers, an ADS, a barbed wire, castle barricades, and half the reinforcements on that one room.
Attackers are moving
Instead,
to locate
you have a Maverick available. Maverick was not banned. Thatcher was, which I would say was a mistake from Lavish, was to ban Thatch instead of Mav. This is a Mav map. This is probably Maverick's strongest map, in my opinion. You know, they had a Maverick available. They should have just used the Maverick, fragged off any mute jammer that was on this wall, and then just pushed that. Because the only thing that was really keeping that closed was the mute jammer. And then you essentially flip the entire hold from Lavish upside down. Because all their utilities over here, they have to rotate that, or they have to just try and play without it. That's what they needed to do on that side. On this side, I'd say it's a bit different. You know, most of the time it's just going to be about, you know, either playing the hatches as much as possible, and or, you know, playing the one part of the objective. That's either going to be a moto drop into church, or it's going to be taking blue, potentially from the blue hatch, or taking dirt. It's about playing a combination of those in order to secure an objective. That's what needs to be done here from reality if they want to pick up this round, and if they want to at least get a forward 2-half, which if they don't, it's going to be really tough for them to come back from a 5-1 split on Clubhouse. It's not impossible. Never say never, but still, it's tough. Especially considering they'd be in a 4v5 on defense, which is, I'd say defense is more demanding utility-wise than attack. With attack, there's multiple ways to get at the objective, there's multiple ways to approach it, really. With defense, you know, I'd say there's, you know, some variations, but you still need a certain recurring cast. For example, you might need a Kaid, there's obviously no Kaid, so you need an impact trigger on this map. You probably need, on this site, you need a Jaeger usually. And then smoke always helps. There's just a variety of ops that they aren't bringing, which is confusing me. The other thing we see here from Lavish is the fact that second clip that they didn't reinforce that wall. If they didn't, that would be very concerning, but they did. They just reinforced it from the other side, which doesn't really affect anything besides what you can put. You know, you can only put Mira one way, which, speaking of Mira, she's unfortunately banned, which is why we saw that castle strategy there from what was launched. I feel that if the Mira was not banned, that probably would have been a Mira strat used by Photos Lavish. That's Draco's confirming the kill of Trippy. 3k now from Thano, 4k, and so look for the ace potentially on Draco's. The last one left needs to try and clutch up this round. 4v5 has actually been fairly close in some of these rounds, and other rounds not so much. Venom will finally get the kill. That's going to be a 4-2 split here, as though some serious momentum lost, some serious ground lost by Beyond Reality, they're still alive here. You know, they could still make a comeback, but they're down by 2 rounds. It's going to be tough. the scoreboard in half. 8-3-5-0-6-5-3-4-1. Strangely enough, Thano outfragging the rest of the lobby, including the enemy team. So well done. Anyways, strangely enough, both these teams seem to prefer Church, which, to each their own. You know, it's, for the most part, primary and secondary sites are preference. You know, you'll see teams, for example, in Cafe, you'll see teams go first floor and then top floor, or top floor and then first floor. They're both about the same strength, it's just about what teams are most comfortable with. I've seen teams that are really comfortable on a tertiary site, I've seen teams that are really comfortable on dining and kitchen on Villa, so they'll go there. For example of that, they'll go there as their primary. You know that's a tertiary for most teams. It's about what you win the most, what you feel the most comfortable with, because that's what's going to really affect how you play. You usually want to go to your weakest site last, and so in this case, it seems to be gym and bedroom for both teams. Which it is what it is.
10 seconds left before
I mean, that's a saying that I repeat too many times, but you'll understand what I'm saying.
5 seconds left. Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Very standard hold here. It's interesting to see how it's being played by Beyond Reality. You know, they are missing rather an additional operator, so that means that they have to play obviously more conservatively in the same sense that they also have to play more aggressive. They can't really do a heavy roam, as there goes Thano, picked up by Ugly Eagles. Time will trade him out, luckily, but the damage has been done. Taking out the top frag in exchange for the other top frag, it's about an even trade, I guess. Still, 4v3 here, as Trippy will gun down Mesa, stopping the dirt play there from Mesa. I believe he actually used a heartbeat charge on dirt. He did. So there's no denial on it. There's no denial here besides potentially Trippy as an impact trick. But even then, he's not really on the right side to impact trick. Obey will get a nitro kill on a Dracos. Well done on the vertical play here. As already, there's a good smattering of vertical play here from Beyond Reality. I'm just surprised to see it from them, really, as they've, strangely enough, they've decided to reinforce all of that wall there from dummy into blue. They didn't do anything to the blue church wall, which is a bit strange. Usually teams would just put two rotates in on these two walls that are at the bottom right corner, and then they'll reinforce the middle wall and this triple wall, and then the other wall right far away from them. As there goes the drone there, one of the players, I believe that's actually Ballistics drone, taken down there by Mira, as well as Mute, as Amazius. It also gets Nitro. It's strangely enough a bit of an overkill. Danny gonna look to get a frag grenade out, throws it down to AK's, looks for a kill. He'll get it onto Killer Tom. Now, first step out of the way. They are back to even, and they've taken out the player in AK's. They can now look for a default plant there over on that Arsenal side. Obviously, Venom's gonna be a bit of a challenge for them, but it's still a possibility here. Found in the fact that they're at even numbers gives them a pretty good chance here. As you can see, Trippy gonna send out a few rounds there, as that's Venom with a double kill now. Takes down Danny, so it's just Ballistics here trying to clutch up. Will push in and will fall to the hands of the Valkyrie. Beyond Reality, as they pick up a 4-3 now. Only one round behind. And one man behind. Blood Wolves Lavish. Anyways, you know, the 4v5 here for Beyond Reality has certainly not helped them at all. It could very well be worse for them, though. They're only down by one round. They could bring this back to even. They could potentially win a map in a 4v5, which would be really big for them. Obviously, a bit demoralizing to to the other team, to Blood Wolves Lavish, but a big morale boost if they could pick up enough rounds to win this map, or at the very least if they can keep this map close. In a 4v5 with one missing player. That's big. Now, on the topic of defense in a 4v5, as I said, they need to play more conservatively. At the same time, they need to play more aggressively. They're at a man-down situation, so they have to play a bit more aggro, look for a couple more gunfights here in order to bring it back to a 4v4. From there, they could just play slow. They can just win the round out by holding angles and just waiting for time. At the same time as that's happening, it's a 4v5. So they can't really afford to have more than maybe one roamer. Because if they have two roamers, it's a 2v5 on the site, potentially. So it's really risky. Even then, having three roamers as in a 5v5 is risky, but you just don't want to try it on a... You don't really want to try it on this sort of situation. Anyways, as you can tell, very standard hold here. Very meta reinforcements. The sightline instead of the rotate, that's become more prevalent recently, relatively speaking. Is instead of a rotate there into rafters instead of sightline. I should say the sightline it's safer, but at the same time it means that player is more easily pincered out from outside of rafters. As that's going to be flame going down on that wall. I believe they're trying to prevent Venom from getting a Banner trick down, and that's kind of an old trick there. I'm glad to see that Mace is playing that. You use Hibana to open that up, or maybe an Ace Charge in this case, or the secondary hard bridge, as in this time it's a secondary hard bridge from Mesa, and then you just flame at the top and it'll fall down actually, and flame that spot, preventing a bandit trick as long as you coordinate well enough with your Therm, your Ace, your Hibana, whoever's doing the hard breach. So it's nice to see an old trick emerge here. Nice to see a Capitao as well. Capitao is undervalued by most teams. He's not played a whole lot, mainly because he's difficult to play, as Danny will pick up. Though Tommy's on the objective now. He could potentially get a plan if he had the diffuser. He does not, though. Nitro will stop him in his tracks, though, courtesy of Trippy, who will just be playing near flat wall. Thana will get a frag of his own onto Ballistics, removing the Nomad, removing some flank watch potential. Potentially some utility as well off the board now. The loss of the Nomad. Venom going to take a bit of damage as Thana will pick off Mesa, and sure they're whistling now for a Thunderbird. I'm sure they would have the ability and the availability to bring that Thunderbird if they had that fifth player. As Thana will take a bit of damage, Ugly Eagle will take down Trippy, and now Thana will fall at the hands of Ugly Eagle. As at this point, Venom's the last one left. Looks to potentially maybe eyeing a rotate here. Toning the angle onto that window as Dracos looks for the plant here. Nitro goes out, does not get anybody as Dracos confirms the plant. Ugly Eagle will get the kill. That's the round there. That's a 5-3. Looks to be potentially another breakaway here for Blood Wolves Lavish. We have a 2-round advantage now. We're back to basically where we started. These two teams traded rounds in an odd way. You know, most of the time we would see a switch at half. You'd see the attack win and then the defense to keep with that pattern. But at the end of the day, they traded rounds there, and that's going to lead to pretty much the same thing that we saw at half.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Now, looking at the lineup here, again, very similar to last round. The only difference I believe is a Valkyrie now in place of a Mozzie. I might be wrong on that. Obviously some changes in terms of who's playing who, but I don't know how that's going to really help them or harm them. It's certainly going to be nice that they have that additional utility. They have that additional possibility of intel, really, which is what they're going to need to win these gunfights. But I don't know if that's going to really be worth sacrificing the drone denial and potentially even intel gathering of a Mozzie, sort of the double-edged sword in a good way for Mozzie is that not only can he shut an area out from drones, but he also is able to obviously potentially take drones and using those drones get intel, set them as either help your team by literally going out and getting the intel using your drones, or just use them as sort of a standard camera.
Swapping.
Sadly, nobody's talking in chat. Which makes me a bit sad, but it is what it is. There's not a whole lot of energy in this game. Frankly, it's obviously starting in the afternoon because it's a long game, and it's going to be about not only winning these rounds, but also a bit of endurance and perseverance here by both teams. You can't really afford to cede a map after map 2. Once you hit map 3, you cannot afford to just give up and cede a map. In maps 1 and 2, I'd say, okay. You know, if you give up on a couple rounds, if you end up giving up a map by accident, that's fine, you can come back. But once you're at map 3, that's when you have to really dial it in. That's when you have to get to work, get the rounds, get the round wins, get the map down in order to potentially put the series away. Killing Tom takes down Danny, and now the site is collapsing here. Obviously, Obey is below. He could potentially get a nitro kill. I think he has cameras on site. They only get a very quick double kill on Mesa and Ugly, and now it's actually back in the hands of Beyond Reality. They have a man advantage now. Congrats to Thano on breaking double digits. He has 12 kills as well as Ugly Eagle with 10 now. So, not as far ahead, but they're still both delivering very well here for their teams. 2v2, Ballistic will pick off Venom, removing the chance of getting a nitro as Gotam already expended his, and obviously removing any vertical play really is. That's the player below. Ballistic's going to look to now push onto the objective. Has to deal, however, with Thano here. He's going to just pre-fire through that small Hibana hole set up by Mesa, I would presume, as he was pushing in. Might look to potentially continue the push here. Dryon going to go out and immediately gets muted. That was a bit of a waste, my guy. Draco's, what are you... Why? Why? 30 seconds left here. He's going to look to just drown out the objective, and that's going to be the key here, is can they get the intel that they need in order to pick up these 2 frags, in order to pick up this frag. They have not been great at getting plants down. Admittedly, they haven't had whole rounds to show that they are good at getting plants down, but even then, they have not been strong at getting plants down. Tom going to have to deal in a 2v1. They're both pushing him. He will have to resort to the secondary. Looks to rotate around. He'll actually fall back here. Did take a bit of damage, but low time situation. Dracos looks for the plant now. Very default position on the island. No chance for Tom to even be able to nitro him. Actually spotted him on the island getting the plant down. He will stick it as Dracos will fall immediately after. Ballistics trades him though, and that's the round. As it's now 6-3. And the first match point of the series has presented itself. Frankly, this is looking messy for Beyond. They're down by 1 player. They're down by 3 rounds, just to specify here. And there's nothing they can do, it seems. Obviously, they're trying, but not enough of them are winning gunfights. You know, Killer at half, Killer Tom, nothing against him, had no kills. If you're in a man-down situation, especially if you're just turning it into a shootout, that's what it's become. They're not even, you know, it's not really like it's becoming a matter of waiting the round out. You know, the
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused
defending
by
team Beyond Reality, they're rounded down to low time, and I don't feel like it was their goal to really bring it down to low time. It's just that the other team, Dracos and one was Lavish, just pushed slowly. Both of these teams push slowly, which is a problem. They spend too much time getting to the point where they can get an execute. They need to get the execute down. They need to reach that point faster to get the execute down more effectively. They need more time for the execute.
Attackers have located a bomb.
So they're turning into shootout, and not enough of them are in gunfights. Obviously, it's a 4v5. So if we take out the lowest amount of kills from Blood Wolves Lavish and just compare that. Let's just do that. That's 27 versus 28. But the 5th player is what's really making the difference here. There's the additional frags. As Danny was just TK'd, I don't know if Osa is still banned. I think so. It really sucks for them. because they could have put this away. They probably could put this away here. They probably still are able to put this away in a 4v4, but not as easily as it would be if they were in a 5v4. If they had that man advantage, if they had the sort of safety net and the additional player. Osa has filled a really weird role here for a lot of teams' offenses. She's a support, but at the same time, she's sort of a... you can play her more aggressively. It's weird because she doesn't... She fills sort of the extra player role. That's what I refer to it sometimes. You know, that's the Dokkaebi, the Lion, your Thunderbird, maybe. I'm trying to think who else. Even though Warden isn't very good, Warden. Somebody that you don't really need in a lineup, but it helps to have in that lineup. See how we can actually send out an Ash Charge. For what? Why? There's no... Oh, there's a shield there. That's why. I have to say there's no purpose, but there is. They have a purpose. There's a method behind the madness of Ugly Eagle as he looks to get some more frags. And that's another problem here is he immediately hops on drone. There goes Mesa. It's a 3v4. I don't know why he left, but he did. Which is... That sucks, to say the least. You know, it's a bit brusque, but it's accurate. Another problem here is we just saw the guy top fragging here. The ace, not the ace, the Ash, pardon me. Ugly Eagle. He's droning for himself. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's good that he's droning for himself, but at the same time, you don't want that player to be droning for themselves. Let them focus on playing entry, on pushing in, while you have a defender, a attacker, a support. I almost said a defender drone. That'd be very weird to have Mazu droning for an attacker. Maybe have Dracos or Ballistics on the drones. Have them drone you in, please. Okay. Venom and Trippy will actually pick off Dracos and Ballistics, and that 4v3, Ugly will take down Killer Tom, and he's going to send out a couple extra rounds just to really rub the salt in the wound. But it's going to be difficult for him to launch. He doesn't have the diffuser. He's low health. He's outnumbered. He has 30 seconds.
And that's a really bad mix of situations.
Seconds left.
He's just going to wait it out. Wow.
10
Okay.
seconds remaining.
He's saving his KD. In competitive, mind you.
5 seconds to go. Operators, you are out of time.
think I'm just gonna have to restart it. Yeah. I'm just gonna restart it after a minute. And that is correct, everybody. We're playing a 4v5. Don't ask me why, we just are. It is what it is. As that really... that's gonna, again, turn this game in strange ways. Because now it's even numbers here. Unless Mesa returns. It's still... it's still...
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
up for grabs here. Both of these teams now have the same rules applied to them, as it's even numbers. There's no way that one of the teams has an advantage over the other, really, besides round count now. So, pretty much what it needs to happen is that Dracos and the rest of Lotus Lavish need to keep their chin up and put away one more round here. And that's how they can win it. So they just need to, put the work in, and that's how they'll do it.
5 seconds to insertion. Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
It's gonna be key, though, for both of these teams to understand that now they don't really need to be limited by the thought of having to worry about man up, man down. They start even. It's up to... It's really up to them to just make the most of it. What is... Huh? Sorry, I'm confused. Is it... Okay. I believe that we're going to see a very standard just jacuzzi wall push here from the attacking team of Lavish, as that's actually one of the two frags burnt there, one of Draco's two frags. It's just, they're just worrying about burning the AASs here. They're going to send out a frag grenade, do luckily take out the electric, the bandit charges on that wall, and they'll use a good amount of utility for that. Keep in mind, they use both of their smokes, both of Draco's as frags. Some of the torch, not a ton. There's plenty of torch fuel to go around, as well as the majority of Danny's Selma charges. So they, even though it was just a mute jammer, an ADS, and some batteries, it's still a lot that they had to spend on that. I feel that they didn't need to put down two Selma charges on that, in my opinion, as it's still a 4v4 here, about halfway through the round, potentially halfway through the final round of this first nap. It's going to really be up to these two teams to focus on keeping their momentum high, keeping the spirits up, to just keep pushing.
Bomb located by attackers.
Every 3 time takes down Danny. And this is looking not so hot here. 30 seconds left. Mesa just returned, but it might be too late here. And he's also on the wrong team, which is really annoying. So that's going to be really strange there. 3v2, Ballistics takes down Thano. I'm going to have to rehost after this round, most likely. Venom takes down Ugly Eagle, and yeah, Ballistics the last one left to try and clutch a 1v3 with 15 seconds, no diffuser. Yeah, this round's over. 6-5. I think I have to rehost. Because Mace is now on the wrong side. I believe I might be wrong on that.
Mm.